Hi, I'm Ray. This is TinyTableGames. Today I'll be playing Game 2 of Disney Sorcerer's Arena Epic Alliance's core set. Basically, the game was explained through 4 chapters. They add more rules each time. First game was the basic game, Chapter 1 as they call it. This game will be Chapter 2 where we add some more stuff. Let's get right to it. So as you can see, the biggest difference with Chapter 2 is now it's 3-on-3. So we have Dr. Vasilier, Ariel, and Gaston. Team Red versus Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey, Aladdin, and Maleficent. They don't explain how these teams come to be. I don't ask. Okay, there's the setup. As always, you guys start somewhere in the starting zone. And let's see, this is Team Mickey's cards. You draw a starting hand to 6. 3 Maleficent, 3 Aladdin, no Mickeys. Well, that's okay, because you can still do standard moves. So Mickey's starting us off. The other rule in Chapter 2 that changed is if on your move you can normally move up to 2 without playing a card. If you discard a movement card, any movement card, doesn't have to be one for that character that's active, you can move 1 extra space. Similarly, in combat, if you have the standard combat, which is do 2 damage to the person next to you, if you discard any combat card, you can do 3 damage instead. So that said, we'll just move Mickey 2, and he has no standard ranged attack, so that's it for him. And we are on to Gaston. We will use Vasilier's movement card to boost Gaston so he can move 3 up to there. And back to Team Mickey. With Aladdin's turn, I will use his move up to 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is now Ariel's turn. Okay, so she can move a standard move up to 2, so she'll move right up next to Aladdin, which she doesn't need that, so we're going to use this to boost it so she does 3 damage to Aladdin. And remember, in Sorcerer's Arena, there is no such thing as blocking or defense or whatever. You just take what they hand out. So he goes from 9 down to 6. Okay, on to Maleficent. That's not helpful. Let's see, move up to 3 spaces, and if she's on a victory point space, move 1 character 1 space. Huh, okay, well, that's actually pretty cool. So we're going to use that. Entrancing Approach. 1, 2, 3. And now she can move 1 character 1 space. So we are going to move Gaston off of his scoring position. So she's just going to hold off there and pass. And we're back over. It is now Dr. Vasilier's turn. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Draw a card. So we'll do a standard move up to here. And then we will do Parlor Tricks, 1 adjacent, not Parlor Tricks, there we go. Bamboozle, 1 rival gains 1 fluster. Every time the token gets removed from the flustered, you have to discard a card. So basically that's just a nasty little thing to do. Let's see, what else? Adjacent. There's his second action. I guess he can do Shrunken. Add 1 status counter to any number of status effects on that rival. Oh, that's interesting. So she's Shrunken and Flustered. And Shrunken, this character's standard attack is 1, and its summoner cannot play any card with an attack symbol during this character's turn. And that's the end of the round. So we're back down to Mickey, who has to lose 1 of his broom tokens because it's the start of his turn. He's not on a scoring location, so nothing happens there. And draw a card. Magical Mob again. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, gotta play a card for sure. Play his second Magical Mob. So he's up to 3 Magical Brooms. Gaston, who's no longer scoring because he got pushed off the square. For his movement, he'll move 2 and punch the Flustered Frog. He will do Brawler, deal 4 damage to an adjacent rival. If that rival is not adjacent to any of your other rivals, which it is not, that rival summoner must banish 1 card from their hand, which means it's out. I know they say out of the game as opposed to just discard, but for our purposes, it's all the same. So she goes down to 3 from 7. Wow. And discarding a card. We'll dump the Street Rat Strike. That's it for his turn. Up to Abaddon, who gains 1 victory point for Team Blue for being on his location. And now he's going to stay right where he's at and pass his movement phase. Oh yeah, and draw. Oh, cool, another Street Rat Strike. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3. And Ariel is at how many hit points? 6. So we will use the Street Rat Strike, which will deal 3 damage, and add the discard the other attack to make it 4 damage, bringing her down to 2. And over to Team Red. Well, she will attempt to save herself with 2. And should she have moved first? Yes, she will move first and then heal. So now she's at 4. The other 2 are just fine, so that's the end of that. Back over to Team Blue and Maleficent. Okay, first thing that happens is we gotta discard a card. We'll get rid of Diablo's Flight. That takes care of the Flustered. The Shrunken wears off. And she accumulates a victory point for Team Blue. She's not moving anywhere. Draw. We'll do Overflowing Anger, which deals 3 to one person and 1 to everybody else who's adjacent. So we will do 3 to Ariel, which takes her down to 1. And then Gaston goes to 9, because he is one hardy guy. And Dr. Vasilier goes to 6, because he is not so hardy. Okay, back to Team Red. Let's see, complete collection. Draw 2 cards or discard another to draw 4 cards. Wow. Okay, well first Ariel's going to move. Well, actually it's not Ariel's turn. It is Dr. Vasilier's turn. I guess he will move up into the middle of everybody and uses Parlor Tricks. 1 adjacent rival gains Flustered. So 1 more Flustered person. And deal 1 damage to each rival adjacent to that rival. So we'll say that Aladdin is Flustered and Mickey takes a damage. So Mickey goes to 7 and Aladdin will be Flustered. To Mickey, who loses a broom. Those things just pop away so fast. And he draws another card. Bold Thievery. Well, you can't use any of those cards, obviously, so I guess the thing to do is head for a scoring location, so he will do that. Well, actually, maybe he should just hit Ariel again. That's Dr. Vasilier, he's at 6, so if we go 1, 2 to over here, then he'll use his standard attack to hit Gaston down to 7. It is Gaston's turn. He's going to move onto a scoring location, finally. And, oh, well, actually, oh boy. Gaston, then Aladdin, then Ariel. All right, so maybe we'll do this slightly differently. So he's going to stay where he is instead and use his shove. Deal 3 damage to a rival and move that rival 2 spaces. So he will shove Maleficent right off her scoring location and deal 3 damage, which is sufficient to take her out. So Maleficent is removed, and Team Red picks up 5 victory points. And that's their turn. Good job, Gaston, for being a bully. Okay, next up is Aladdin, who is Flustered, but Flustered no more. So before we draw a card, we discard a card, so I guess we'll get rid of the Bold Thievery since that was Aladdin. Just seems fair. Now he scores a victory point because he's still on that location. And we draw a card, which is Entrancing Approach again. So it's all Maleficent cards in hand. She's not even on the board. So I guess all we're going to do is have Aladdin smack Dr. Vasilier for 3, because we'll discard this extra attack card. So Dr. Vasilier takes 3, which brings him down to 3. And now we're on to Ariel, who has no status, anything going on. Draw a card. First thing she's going to do is take over that space. And range 2, choose 1. Deal 3 damage to a rival. Do I need it to be range 2? I really don't. Let's see, so we'll use the... Yeah, that's pointless too. So we'll just use her regular attack on Mickey and then discard the Trident Strike to make it 3 points instead. Since there's nobody adjacent, there's no point. So Mickey's down to 4. And back to Team Blue. Maleficent's no longer flustered since she got knocked out. It's now Maleficent's turn. She comes back on the board in one of the starred locations, the very back. So we will use her normal move of 2, and then use the Forest of Thorns, which is range 2, and deal 1 damage to 2 rivals. So Gaston goes down to 6, and Ariel goes down to 1. To Dr. Vasilier. No cards in hand for Dr. Vasilier. He's not anywhere that's particularly good, so he'll just smack Aladdin for 2. So Aladdin's down to 4. Back down to Mickey. Only has 1 broom left, so Mickey will do 2 to get over to here and hit Gaston for... Oh, he should not do that. Well, yeah, because Gaston will take the spot otherwise. Because it'd be great if Maleficent could get there, but it'll be a while. So he'll just hit Gaston for 2. Oops. So Gaston is now down to 4. And it is Gaston's turn, who will probably just punch Mickey right back in the face. Let's see. Shrug it off. Remove any status effects. Move up to 3 spaces. So he'll just punch Mickey back for 2. And that brings Mickey down to 2 health. Over here on Team Blue, draw a card. We're up to Aladdin. And finally a Mickey combat card. That's nice. Let's see. Aladdin picks up a victory point for still camping out on that spot and punches Dr. Vasilier, who's down to 3. So we will boost that with this Diablo's Fight card for 3. So Aladdin takes out Dr. Vasilier. So Team Blue picks up an extra 4 points. That's the end of his turn. On to Ariel. 2, 3, 4, 5. Draw a card. She picks up a victory point for where she's at. Let's see. Range 2, deal 3 damage to a rival. So she will 1-2 zap Mickey, who's down to 2 anyway. So she takes out Mickey Mouse and picks up 4 victory points. So they're now in the lead. Good job, Ariel. Let's see, Mickey will come back healed on 8 when he returns. But in the meantime, it's now Maleficent, which kind of works out in a way, because now she can actually get up to that victory point location. So she will use her standard move to get up there. Attack on Gaston for 2 points. So he's down to 2. Team Red, Dr. Vasilier. None of those have any range, so he's just going to move 2, and that's that. Now Mickey Mouse's turn. He's all out of brooms. Draw a card. He comes back down in the start area. Move up to 2 and gain 2 brooms. Well, yeah, we will absolutely use that. So he moves 2 and picks up 2 brooms again. That was nicely in time. And now he will use he'll use, well, he can't use another movement, so deal 3 damage to an adjacent. He doesn't have any attack, so from there he'll pass. And it is on to Gaston. First Gaston will pivot to here, and then he'll use Sheer Bravado because that gives him 2 extra damage, so he deals 6 damage right to Maleficent. Turn. Move up to 2, gain Stealthy. Not helpful, but he does pick up yet another victory point. And there he'll stay, I suppose, because he doesn't have any combat cards, so what's the point? Back over here to Team Red, and the combat monster that is Ariel picks up a victory token. She's going to move 1 and smack Maleficent, who is down to 1 again already, and still the kill, if you will, from Gaston. Pick up 5 more points for Team Red. Maleficent's out again. And that's it for Team Red. Back to Team Blue. Maleficent's up. She comes back fully healed again. 2, and she will just punch Gaston for 2, which is enough to take Gaston out because he was on 2. So Gaston is worth 6 points. It is Dr. Vasilier's turn. So he will move right up to there and claim a spot. And he will, I guess, shrink Abaddon and turn him into a frog. And that's now Mickey's turn. He loses 1 broom, which have really been ineffective for him this game. So he'll just move up to here and zap Ariel with shooting stars, which is overkill. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he won't bother doing that. He'll just smack her because she was down to 1 anyway. So that takes Ariel out and picks up 4 victory points for Team Blue, which puts them 1 point away from the win. And it's back over to Team Red. Now Gaston, who's back in the game. Draw a card. Let's see. Adjacent. Remove any stats effects. So he will move. We'll use his Shrug It Off just to move 3 spaces. And that's about all he can do. No attacking because nobody's in range. Onto Abaddon, who the Shrunken wears off. Didn't really do anything in that case. And he picks up 1 victory point, and Team Blue wins. So as you can see, Chapter 2 mostly just added more characters to play, which increased the deck size and increased the VP total. For a minute there, I was thinking the game was going to drag on and on and on, but once people start getting whacked a couple times, it only really takes, no matter if you're playing to 20, pretty much 3 character knockouts to win the game, more or less, while camping on a couple of the victory locations. So not too bad overall. We'll see if Chapter 3 doesn't pick things up. We still haven't used anything on any of the actual character cards, so there's a lot more stuff going on there with special abilities and power-ups and everything like that. Assume we'll get to those in Chapter 3 and Chapter 4, because those are the only other rules left to add to the game. Anyway, I am Ray. This is TinyTableGames. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time for Chapter 3 of Sorcerer's Arena. See ya.